Hi, welcome back, and with a bit more progress. It's a bit more, it's first progress on this for a long time. Wartburg, and it's going to change the front wings because the edges of them all a bit rough around the edges. They've been repaired in the past, the nist never got finished, and as the other one had good wings on it and it's the same colour and they bolt on, it's, I'd say straightforward, but it's not. Having taken them off the other car, it's not an easy job, but it'd be well worth it in the end. Finish it off body wise and give it a good polish up and look a lot better. But it'll take some time, so I'm going to put it on time lapse. So hopefully it'll come out all right, because I don't know how long it's going to take or whether it'll all go planned tonight. So we'll see. Considering how old the car is and where it's from, the rust treatment wasn't particularly comprehensive. However, this is actually solid. I'll treat all this while it's apart. The other one, this didn't exist anymore. There was nothing from about there down. This was just fresh air. This end of the sill just dissolved. So comparative to the other one, this is actually solid. It's a good one. Probably do the cam belt while I'm here because it's a little bit easier. Brake pipes, yeah, they need replacing. Yeah, I'll say they need doing. But yeah, you can see the suspension set up, double wishbone, oddly double CV joint. There's a joint on either side and a centre collar. 4-pot calipers. There's no servo, so you need a bit of extra braking. At the moment it's got adjustable shocks on it and they actually work, so I don't know if they stay or whether I put the original factory ones back on I've got from the other car, which actually work really well. These are quite soft, but to be honest it's not a racing car, so I think they may stay. Let's have a look what the cam belt's actually like while we're here, see if it's that's handy. There's a part number on the water pump if we need to get one, and there is one came with it, cam belt and water pump. However, I'm not sure if it's the right one because the box says Volkswagen on and it's not actually a Volkswagen engine, or it's very similar. I mean, that definitely needs something doing. It's there's way too much slack on there, so I'm going to tension it. I'll put a new one on. It came with one. As long as it's the right one. Square teeth. Yeah, square teeth on it. I think that's what the other one is. Next thing is slightly easier to work on. Bit extreme, obviously, but it's this side's a little bit more involved because all the wiring that goes through there and all the wiring that's attached you can disconnect, but it goes through this bracket. So everything for the entire engine bay, the carburetor, all the way through, everything has got to come out to loop around that bracket and then go back in. The other option is cutting it off, which I'm not going to do. So once this side's back together, we'll swap the other side. Maybe do them both at the same time. Probably just do the one side, and that way at least I can line things back up. They've left the door on, even though there's 3 bolts down the A post that are difficult to get at. The door's in the correct position, so I can put the wing back on where the old one came off, line it up with the door. Once that's fixed in place, I can take the door off, turn B, get to them bolts a little bit easier, mainly because they're all right fiddling and getting them out. We'll see. I mean, if they come out all right, sorry, they came out all right, they might go back in all right, but we shall see. Give me a chance to check everything over a little bit better down the back because it's easier to see where things are. You can see the main chassis cross member, that's what was rotten on the other car. This entire suspension side on the opposite side of the car, absolutely nothing left of it on all four sides. The steering rack mounts to that down the back. It's all a bit unconventional. The master cylinder, brake cylinders down for the clutch and that are down here, mounted to the chassis. The pedals go down through the floor. Other than that, it's a fairly conventional looking car. It's not particularly fairly conventional mechanically. It's a bit more mechanically conventional than the two-stroke ones, which had the radiator here across the back with a shaft drive with a fan on it driving at the back, 3 coils, 3 cylinders, two-stroke. They're seen as the proper ones. However, these are much more usable on a daily basis, or for longer journeys, a lot less trouble. Right, I shall continue with this later on. Not sure when that'll be, a couple of days by the time I get things cleaned up and sorted, but you'll see it in a much shorter space. I've got the wing assembly on, just test fit it. It's all alright. It was a slightly different colour annoyingly, but I think once it's polished up it'll be a lot better. The mud flat bracket on the front I've taken off, and as I did, it's taken a bit of the bulkhead behind it as well, rusted as a metal on metal, so that's a little bit of patch of welding. Cleaning up the under seal and paintwork, sort of getting rid of the little tiny wriggly bits of rust. It's cleaning up quite well, because you got like this sort of bits where it's just staining it, but it looks a little bit better without the stain. This side's actually worse. The car that it came from, slightly rustier on the surface, but once it's cleaned up it looks a lot better. Little tiny marks rather than a lot of rusty marks. Same with the bulkhead, cleaned it all around that area. There's a lot of black wax sprayed into the joints, which is a good idea, but it just looks a bit of a mess. So like that area cleaned up. It's not a restoration, it's a resurrection. So there's no need to go completely mad with it, but make it clean and tidy while you can, and sort out oil leaks and cam belts while they're accessible. Right, that'll do for now, because there's a bit to do and a bit to get. I need to get a new gas welding bottle and then stick some metal back in it. Thanks for watching. Cheers.